It could be worse because Rob Ford, right?
Right.
Mayor Rob Ford of Toronto, a city I'd love to visit again if Canadian authorities would let me cross the border.
Why won't they let you cross the border?
Oh, geez, the last time I tried to go for a Ring of Honor show, I've been going to Canada since the 80s, right?
Right.
I've flown in, I've drove in. My grammar is horrible. I've driven in. I've never been looked sideways at. I've never been stopped. I've never been harassed. I know every wrestler in the world will tell you that they can get into Cuba easier than they can get into Canada. Right. They can go to Japan, they can go to the United Kingdom, they can go anywhere. They can't get into Canada if somebody looks sideways at them. Well, the last time I went a few years ago for a Ring of Honor show, I'm driving with my wife, Stacy, and I'm driving in my own vehicle, which is registered to me. I have no current wants or warrants, as they say on Adam 12. Nobody's got a legal difficulty with me at this point, right? I'm just minding my own business going to Toronto. Well, I pull up to the deal and they say, where are you going? It's Toronto. Here's my hotel paperwork. Going to be staying at the Hilton Garden Inn. Going to be there for 4 days. Is this your vehicle? Yes. Do you have any food or whatever the fuck? No, sir, don't. No contraband, no plants, no blah, blah, blah. Okay, we'll pull over to the side there. So I pull over to the side. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go in this like jail detention parking area with razor wire on the top of the cyclone fence.
Oh, boy.
And they come out and, sir, we're going to need to be searching your car today. All right, well, have at it. So they search the car, and of course they don't find anything that's not supposed to be there. And they ask me the same questions the other guy just asked me. And we've even got passports. I even have a passport because you're supposed to have a passport to go to Canada now. I've never used it for anything else, but you know. So they say, okay, well, now you need to take these and you need to go in there. But now we got to go inside. So we go inside and they ask us the same questions that, how do you know each other? Well, we've known each other because we've been married for however many fucking years.
Jeez.
So anyway, they ask us the same questions a third time, and then they decide to start getting on their computer, and they run me. And I say, this might not end well. Because, as everyone knows, I have had somewhat of a checkered past with whacking people over the heads with tennis rackets in various locales in America. And so anyway, then they tell Stacey, well, you stay here, but you come back in this room. Now they've got they start out with 1984, Baton Rouge, you were arrested for assault. Yep. 1985 in whatever, Texas. Yeah. 1986. Well, yeah. Your point is, I said I was a bad guy wrestler. I've had probably a dozen arrests for assault and various, no felonies. Right. Never spent a day in jail. I've been booked a few times, but never sentenced to anything. I said I was a bad guy wrestler. I got a bunch of assaults and various things. Well, we find you illegally inadmissible to enter this country. What? I've been coming 20 years. I'm coming to spend money in your fucking country. Well, unless you get a piece of paper from so-and-so, the prime minister or whoever the boss is up there, their office, you've got to sign this paper that says you'll not try to enter the country again. I say, you know what? If this is an example of, because now here's our vacation and our Ring of Honor show. We were staying 4 or 5 days. Right. Stace over there crying because we look like we're in not even jail, but the prison. There's all these armed people running around, bulletproof glass. I said, that's the easiest paper I'll sign all year that anybody has. Where can I sign and to show me the door to get back to the United States of America, right? Fuck you. So we turn around now. Back in the truck and turn around. And once again, at this point, I don't even think I'd had a traffic ticket in 4 or 5 years, right? So I'm like, what the fuck? How can a middle-aged married couple in their own vehicle, carrying no contraband, with no wants or warrants, not even an outstanding civil suit, just be denied admission to a country based on what they've done 20 or 25 years or 10 years or however far in the past it was, that nobody else in their own country where they did it is mad about, right? Right. So I drive 50 feet to go back through the gate to get back in the United States. They stopped me. Guess what? They asked me the same questions.
On the U.S. end?
Who are you? Now, this is the United States side. This is our people. Who are you? Where are you going? I said, we're going back home. Where you been? I said, over there. Pointed to the door. Do you have any contraband, any food, any plants? I said, no, we've just been over there. They just checked us on the other side of this fucking deal. Well, we're going to have to take a look. I said, what? Did I have like a pound of Colombian blow airlifted to me by a helicopter in the 50 feet between here and the door they just let me out of where they searched me last time? So he opens our cooler and he said, well, you got 4 hard-boiled eggs here of Stacy's lunch, right? I said, if you want them, you can have them. Because now I'm getting pissy with this guy because I figured, okay, they won't let me in Canada. And so that means they got to let me back in the United States because they can't keep me in this 50-foot square parking lot like Tom Hanks in the fucking airport movie, right? I said, just take whatever you want and just let me go on so I can get the fuck out of this goddamn fucking deal that I'm in here and go back home. And well, yes, here you go, sir. Thank you very much. So I like Toronto, pretty much I like Vancouver very much. It reminded me of Canadian San Francisco, and I like Toronto, but I could give a shit for the rest of Canada, to be quite honest with you, and I ain't going to go back because unless they want to send me an engraved invitation saying we will not treat you like a criminal and detain you and rifle through your shit and ask you questions and hurt your wife's feelings. I've lived this long without spending extended periods of time in Canada, and I don't believe I need to anymore. But Rob Ford,
yes,
as we were, that's the kind of politician that I like. Right? He had a perfectly viable excuse for the fact that he was caught smoking crack. He did it because he was in one of his drunken stupors. There's a reason why that, Canada has its positives and negatives. Its positive is nothing ever happens there, and its negative is nothing ever happens there. They never get invaded because they're right next to us, so whoever knows that we would help out. But they never get in a war, and they don't really there's no edge to Canada, if you notice. There's nothing bad really going on, but there's nothing really good going on either. It's just kind of an even keel. But they did have a great fucking all-you-can-eat sushi buffet place.